Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey.
I am Bill Merck. Welcome to Outside the Sanctuary. Are you okay? You in a giddy mood today?
Oh, no, it's Mr. Bill.
And we got it.
That was funnier than the joke you just told.
1976.
Yes, the reference there. That was
Saturday Night Live.
Mr. Bill, and he was his little claymation that would get smashed and run over.
Nope.
He would get run over, and they would just go, "Oh no, Mr. Bill!"
Anyway, who are you?
Back in the day and age of good graphics, when David Letterman, they would for their fireworks, they would throw watermelons and cantaloupes off a 30-story building and just watch them explode.
Years afterwards.
I'm Vince McDonald.
And who are you?
I'm Katrina McDonald.
And today we have a awesome guest.
Awesome.
Really? And just
Yes.
you're going to use the same adjective?
Very one of my
Astute.
favorite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wow.
we'll have
That's
Katrina in
what
our
they
meeting
do.
if you're one of her favorites.
Yeah.
Good. Tell who he is, Katrina. Set him up.
This is
Dylan
Dylan
Suplee.
Suplee.
Dylan Suplee.
Not Maggie's husband. Let's just call
Yeah,
you that.
that's true.
No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
true.
No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
Or Judah's dad. Maybe is
yeah.
how I'm more well known
Yeah.
at the church.
Thank you, Miss Maggie, for letting Dylan participate in this fun event.
Yes.
So the reason we have Dylan on is just because he's awesome. That's it. That's the end of the episode.
He's a very
Talk about
important person
Talk about
within
his
our
life,
church
but
community.
he leads our wonderful youth leadership team
Yes.
of which the I guess we would say the original four were Dylan and Catherine and Carly and Max.
Yep.
Now we've got
Yeah, Anthony and Tyler.
yes. I just saw Tyler.
Oh, I didn't
This isn't
realize
about
that.
Tyler, but I just jump all around.
Yep.
Tyler won an award, like some kind of stage award. Did you see that?
I did not. I know
Yeah,
he was in
yeah.
the show.
He
but-
won like. But
Wow.
anyhow, take it away, Bill. And I'm going to.
We'll have him on.
No, I meant he's
sometime,
our
I guess.
youth guy, and he's holding a trophy, and
Wow.
he
Pretty cool.
he won like.
Are you going to look for the picture?
Yeah, no, right, no,
Mr.
I'm not going to show the
Mr.
picture.
Universe.
No, wait. There he is. Well, look.
Well, now I have to see it.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks very
Would
official
you,
right
Do you
there.
want to show the camera? I
Wow.
guess if you're on YouTube, you can see this. I don't know.
I don't
He
know if
did
I'm
not.
buying
Anyway.
I don't know if he approved of
if I'm buying anything,
that.
but
I don't
anyhow,
care.
he won the New Jersey ACT Perry Awards are the premier, most prestigious recognition for community theater in New Jersey,
Oh.
and he
Okay.
won.
That's great.
This is
Anyhow,
awesome. So we have
let's get
Dylan on.
Anyhow, I just yeah.
But
I want to tell you about when I
look-
was
but
in
look at
fourth
one of
grade.
your-
I won a bike award.
Oh, I already listened to your show on comedy
Oh, yeah.
and all
I'm
the
sorry
awards
about
you
that.
won when
But-
you were
Yeah.
a touring comedian.
Dylan,
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
my.
go about Dylan.
yeah, I was going to say he's friends with Tyler.
I'm friends with the prestigious award winner.
Now let's get back to Dylan. So, Dylan, do you remember when you lost the ability to walk when you were a little boy?
I don't remember it, but I have heard about it a lot.
Well, now
You
you
were
were
about-
into us.
Dylan,
Okay, so go.
I like to break the ice with things like that. He was a bit Dylan. For you moms out there who you have little walking toddlers, don't panic if one day they can't. Because it was like he was walking, and all of a
Yep.
sudden he wasn't. Something happened, and
Yeah, somewhere around my second year of life, I just stopped walking, and
he said, "That's enough."
doctors went to a couple different doctors at CHOP and stuff, and nobody could figure it out. And then one day I just started walking again.
So,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
and here
Nobody
he
That
knew
was
what
it.
happened, but
Yeah.
I was in a lot of pain for some time, and it disappeared one day.
Now we don't have an order. We don't have obviously an order. But what I wanted to get, we don't. Do you have an order of what we're doing? Anyhow,
Oh, yeah, of
I'm
course.
jump-
Like every episode we have.
but I wanted to jump with that because one of the things we would in my distant perspective is God has shaped you through some pain.
Absolutely.
So when did you? We can talk about your. Is it called juvenile?
That's what it was diagnosed was juvenile arthritis.
Yeah.
But I'm no longer a juvenile. So
Do you still have it?
yes.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought
Not
it goes
juvenile
away.
anymore.
No, I thought it goes.
Yeah.
Now
So
it's just
how old were you when you began?
So-
I remember you were playing sports, and
Yep.
it was very heart wrenching for you, right?
Yeah. So freshman year of high school is when the pain sort of started, specifically during basketball season. So the winter. And then going into baseball season, it kind of spread from my back and into the rest of my body. And, you know, we were thinking it was growing pains or I was working out too much or whatever. And then during that summer, so I would have been 15, I guess. The pain just like kept getting worse, and it got to the point of basically being debilitating. And so got a series of tests done, blood work and x-rays and stuff. And they diagnosed it as juvenile arthritis. And I was just glad to have a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then I was even more glad when they said, you can stay active. You're going to feel the pain, but you're actually going to help your disease. It will improve the more active you are. And I said, thank you, Lord, because if you know me, I love to be active.
Yeah.
And especially when I was in high school. And so, that was a big part. So then through most of my sophomore year, I had arthritis throughout my whole body. It was at its worst in my back and knees, but basically every joint. And so I thought I was going to be a starter on the soccer field that year, but that did not happen. And I was still able to be a part of the team and get some playing time here and there. But it was a tremendous journey. But there's so much I could talk about from that journey about the value I found in my church family, and in my brother was very important in guiding me in that time to turn to the Lord with my pain. And one of the biggest lessons I learned through that was the importance of prayer in my life. And that is definitely something that has continued with me throughout all of my years since, of just some prayer habits that I formed during that time in high school that have shaped very much my prayer life now.
Well, can we get into them? Like,
Sure.
what's a habit
Sure.
that you feel that
so-
you learned then?
So one of the first things is, at the end of the day, in my prayer, I prayed as I would fall asleep, and I had to specifically thank God for two things from that day. So it couldn't just be a general thank you for food,
Good.
but it had to be specific of things that occurred that day.
Neat.
And so that has been huge in shaping just my perspective in life,
It is
to be more grateful.
Dylan, to learn that at a younger age is enormous. I can tell you how many times I've said to people, intentional gratitude, just intentional gratitude. Not only is it biblical and spiritual, it's part of God's design. Like, it literally changes the chemistry in our brain because
Interesting.
it's God's design. So you were doing it because the Lord just led you to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, another one. I'm kind of blanking right
that's
now.
okay.
It's all good. So,
But-
you took that with you and you've brought that on. So, your experience, what led you to want to lead the youth?
Yeah.
We'll just jump right in.
Okay. So actually, I guess I feel like I should finish the journey of my health.
Please.
So,
Yeah.
Bill, your question.
I'll get there in a second.
You know what?
Well, actually,
Shake it down. You can just take it.
Both of you can leave.
I'm
It's
kidding.
TI
I'm
today.
kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I know.
No, this definitely ties in. So
Yeah.
then going through my sophomore year, I got the diagnosis, I got medication.
Gotcha.
And by the end of that year, I basically was living pain-free. So they say the disease goes into remission. They use the same as cancer, the same terminology. And I basically was pain-free for the rest of my high school. And so then my senior year of high school, we toured to different churches, and I shared my testimony about a lot of the spiritual lessons that I learned from that journey of pain. And that was the first time that I had people come up and tell me that I should consider being a teacher or a pastor or something along those lines.
Okay.
And so, now my disease, they call it enthesitis arthritis, which just means, or spondylitis arthritis is the term, which just means it's focused in my back.
Okay.
And so I'm still mostly pain-free, but my neck and back, I have some nagging pain. But it's not very, it's definitely not debilitating. It's just kind of something I'm used to at this point. But yeah, so that was the first time in high school that I was kind of told, like, hey, you have a gift for speaking publicly. Have you ever considered doing this in the future? And I said, I love math. And so I went into college to study engineering. But I went to Liberty University, and while I was there was more than one occasion where I found myself wondering if I should be changing into a ministry degree. And actually, it was Pastor Greg that told me, no, you have a very math-oriented mind, focus on math, and maybe someday the Lord will open a ministry door for you. But a lot of opportunities, you don't need a degree to get started in ministry.
Of course, when he spoke at Emmanuel a couple weeks ago, or somebody came right up to me and said, "You can retire now."
Oh,
and I was
boy.
like, "Well, thank you, but I'm not."
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't want that either.
I said it because I thought,
No, but you know, our paths were different, but they're ours and everyone who, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but who is soft enough to say, "Lord, whatever you want, turn my life." I went to college to be a pastor, and when I got out of college, I had friends going, "Hey, I'm taking a church." And I'm thinking, taking a church? Goodness, I'm still living at home with my mom and dad. And I worked in sales from basically age 22 to 28, 29. And I remember reaching a point saying to the Lord, "Lord, I thought you called me to be a pastor, but I realize the highest calling in life is wherever you have me. So if you, right now I'm a husband, so let me be the Christian husband you want me to be. I'm a dad, let me be the Christian dad you want me to be. I'm working with the youth at church. I was teaching them, let me be the Christian salesman you want me to be." And there was a real peace in that of saying, I'm not discontent where I am. If this is what you have for me, and it was shortly after, like, I began to just have this sense of, nope, it's time. So the key is saying, "Lord, here I am. You've given me this desire." I don't believe in saying, just be careful. What are you going to be for the rest of your life? I mean, obviously, Tina put all that into being a physician's assistant. She's probably not going to throw it all away to be an artist. She can do that on the side. I mean, but what I mean is, I often say to people, don't carry, and you could borrow this, by the way, with the teens. Here I am dominant. But I would always say to the seniors, in America, we say, you can be whatever you want to be. In a lot of countries, they're like, your mom and dad were rice farmers, you're a rice farmer. So our teens have this weight on them of, I can be whatever. And the reality is, not always true.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? And so I would say to my own kids even, don't carry the weight of what am I going to do the rest of my life. Who knows what you're going to do the rest of your life? What do you feel like God's leading you into right now? And so God took you that way, and now you're in a math-oriented career, but also significantly being used by God in our church family.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I had a similar moment where I came home from college and I had a career as an engineer. At the time, it was Brian and Sandy Schroll were leading the youth group, and they asked me to sort of help them bring some youth, some younger energy to the group as a leader. And I just told them, I don't have the time or the capacity for that right now. And then it was about a year later that they said, we're moving. And so we've prayed about it. We've talked to the pastors, and would you like to take over as the youth leader? And I said, after a lot of prayer and talking to Pastor Greg, I felt the Lord calling me of like, okay, now this is the time to step into the ministry. And so that was how I got here, because I was asked to be.
I also want to just point out the fact that Pastor Greg has a little bit more in his life than just his pastor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So who is he to you?
He's also my father-in-law.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There we go. I just wanted to make sure that. And you're his uncle. So.
Yes.
This is true.
So, I mean, you got lots of good connections.
And I'm
here.
your cousin
Yep.
by marriage.
Because I'm Bill.
You're just Bill.
You're just Bill.
The reality is, you and Dylan are biologically related. We just don't know
That's
how far
true.
back you got.
Yeah. It's got to go pretty far
Pretty
back.
far back.
But it's
The only thing I can say about Dylan is my son is named Ethan, where he was considered to be Dylan, but we were going here and he's going here. So we decided not to change his name
Really?
to Dylan.
How do you like that?
So you didn't want to name him after me? Was I that bad as
Wow.
a kid?
No, we just didn't want to be like, that Dylan. No, honestly, it's too close.
That's funny because you
that's
also they were going to name Violet Purple, but I had said purple,
That is true.
so they named her Violet instead.
I think you made that joke before.
No. He really said
It was
it.
real life though.
He said that
That's what I mean.
from the pulpit.
Yeah, I just
You
got
called her
mixed up.
purple?
I just said they had a baby and its name is Purple, and people laughed. I said,
Wait. It was her birth announcement?
Yes.
yeah,
It was before the names were printed in the bulletin for you to read.
Violet is far more beautiful.
You could have
Yes.
at least said lavender.
Violet, by the way, you are a beautiful person growing.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah.
We love Violet.
Yes, and Violet's cell number is no.
Yeah. She'll
No,
murder
but-
you.
Too far. Yeah.
Dylan, we're
Be scared.
I know at one of the people God put in your life as well. Speaking just from what I saw, you were greatly impacted by Jeff Prentice as well, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
course.
Jeff was a coach and gym teacher at Baptist Regional School, and so he coached Dylan
Mostly in basketball.
mostly in basketball,
Yep.
but was around you in everything,
Yep.
mentoring and all. And Jeff had gone through stage 4 Hodgkin's disease and that kind of.
Mm.
In high school, that setting, there was a bond you could build. When you got to Liberty with the size, was there any professor or whatever that you felt you almost got that same kind of bond with? And I don't mean this negative of the size. I just didn't know in that setting, would you feel like there was somebody who was meaningful, but the setting didn't allow for the same.
Yeah, definitely it didn't allow for the same connection that I had between Mr. Prentice and Mr. Mack at Baptist High. But there are two professors that come to mind. The one was one of my engineering professors that I had, I think, for 3 years. And I worked with him like on my senior project as well. And he was one that like took several times at the start of his lessons throughout the year where he would share something he's learning about God.
Mm.
He would share a lesson. And I remember very specifically.
Are we allowed to say this professor's name?
Oh, yeah, Dr. Bay.
Dr. Bay may be
Yeah.
listening. He may
Dr.
be
Kyung-
outside the
Kyung Bay.
sanctuary. Young
He was
Bay.
awesome.
Mm.
Hello, Kyung.
The joke was Bay is Bay, because that Bay is like that was a phrase,
Yes.
like the best.
Yeah.
Your boo.
Ah.
I'm old, so
Yeah, you're a
you know what?
significant other.
Bay
Yeah.
meant?
And so Bay is
You're
Bay is
old.
what we would say.
You're
He was
old. Cute.
he was the best engineering professor. But I remember specifically when his father passed away, he shared several lessons that like I still remember about what he was learning
Wow.
from God during that time.
Wow.
Mm.
And then another one, Dr. Joseph, he was a calculus professor. Had him
Oh,
for 3 years as well.
I don't miss. I never had that.
But he would do theology Thursdays, where the first 15 minutes on Thursdays he would
that's
talk
cool.
about,
Yeah.
and basically he would take something very specific in pop culture, and we would break it down to say whether it's biblical, whether it's
Right.
something that should be a part of our lives
Awesome.
or not.
It's the tremendous
That's great.
value of having
Yeah.
Yeah,
believer professors who are biblically rooted, who understand that my field of science, my field of math, my field of this, it integrates with
Absolutely.
my philosophy of life. Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Now, calculus. I always joked, nobody's using calculus in life. Or do you use calculus?
So
I don't even know what it. I stopped at like a squared plus b squared is c squared. What is
okay,
that?
that's
Is
the
that
Pythagorean theorem.
but I mean, is
yeah,
that-
that's
is that
geometry?
geometry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't take.
I don't think I
pre-cal-
went past
I didn't take
algebra.
Is the next thing calculus pre-calc?
It depends.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What
I-
about
Um,
trigonometry?
Oh, true. But
Do you use that?
Do
I mean,
you, do
basic
you use
basic
calculus?
principles.
Yeah.
Mm.
Calculus.
like,
So
what?
honestly, a lot of my work is like built off of principles from calculus.
Okay.
But people did the math like 100 years ago.
Okay.
Oh.
And so now the math that I do is very simple.
Okay.
Oh.
But what I'm building off of is principles from calculus.
Hmm.
And there was one time so far in my 5-year career that I was working with an engineer, and he actually started to do real calculus with integrals and derivatives.
Oh my
And it helped. We came to a solution because of it.
Wow.
I literally don't
And
know what they mean.
I honestly was blown away. I was like, I've never seen anyone do this for real in a job, and it
Wow.
actually worked.
It worked. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's incredible to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is, because he literally, what you just said was like literally a different language.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I zoned.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but it's
fair.
once you said math, I was gone.
Yeah.
You know, when
I'm just sitting here picturing monkeys pick
my last math
monkeys'
class,
backs.
I've got a master's degree. My last math class was in high school.
Yep.
I didn't have to take
Yeah.
any in college.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
know.
hilarious.
But that's really neat. Like, obviously, I got to watch Prentice in your life.
Yep.
Never met Dr. Bay or
Dr. Joseph.
Dr. Joseph. Are they still professors at Liberty?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Give us their background. And
So
I don't
the ministry kind of got handed to you,
Yep.
would you say? Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I
has
think-
the youth group always had a special place in
That's
your
a good
heart,
question.
particularly? Because there's other ministries you could be a part of.
yeah,
Obviously, you are amazing at what you do.
Well,
Thank you.
I know Bart Welsh, our youth director,
Yeah,
during those years,
absolutely.
made a great impact on you in his
Absolutely.
teaching.
Yeah, because you went to Emmanuel at the youth
Yep.
group there, so you grew up.
well, I mean,
within
you were
that
born and
community.
raised in a
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's-
Right.
This is
But
Yeah,
I
so
mean, that way you had I know he had a significant impact on you, and I'm sure that,
definitely.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. So I grew up in this church, and my parents have always been very involved in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Many of my earliest memories are in the church basement, just
Mhm.
while my parents are setting up for some
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. Well, your mom's always been
involved
VBS,
in something. Yeah.
and your dad also.
And
yeah.
so I kind of grew up like just serving in ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came back from college, it wasn't really like if I'm going to be serving, but where I'm going to be serving
Right.
is kind of
Yeah.
just how I live and how I grew up. And honestly, I came back with some ideas that I thought were really exciting. COVID put a damper on some of those.
oh, sure.
Because that was right when I graduated college. But one of the biggest conclusions that I came to is some of the ideas that I had for what I would call like more creative ministries, not your traditional ministries. I felt like serving in the youth gives me more of a platform to be able to perform
Yeah.
some of those other opportunities.
Yeah.
And some of them I have started, and some of them I haven't yet. But I still hope to someday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's awesome.
But
Yeah,
that was
youth
kind of what
ministry
led me
is
to
a
it.
special
Yeah.
calling for you and all those involved in it.
You got to like
Because-
kids.
Well, look, you're investing yourself in
It's a learned
lives
skill.
that
Mhm.
you like. For me, I'm investing in lives and hoping that I'm part of them for the next 30, 40 years.
Mhm.
Well, not now, be 100 something. But you're investing in lives knowing that I get to see them become seniors, and now they're gone.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's this, I talk about, before I compared it almost to being I don't mean it this way, but like a general manager of a football team. You got guys on contracts, but you always have to have that, and that those young guys and what's neat has been to see that you have a group now that's finds real camaraderie with each other that is coming up from the younger
Yeah.
classes, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So we're coming up to like my 4th year of leading the ministry. And so just this past class that graduated was kind of like, I felt like the first class that like I grew up with, that like I watched them grow from being
Right.
freshmen in high school to growing and graduating. And so that it was like really hard when they left for college because
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
man, like I've seen
Yeah.
so much growth in these guys'
Wow.
lives.
Mm.
And just this past year, like there were so many things that I was starting to really connect with them on.
Mm.
And I'm like, now,
Yeah.
especially one or two of them, like I may never see them again because
Yeah.
they don't go to this church regularly. And
Wow.
Mhm.
so, that was hard for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Were you
I just-
expecting it to be difficult?
I think I wasn't prepared for it.
Okay.
I hadn't really thought about how
Yeah.
difficult it would be.
You're going to find, well, trust in the Lord, but 20 years from now, I mean, now I work with the youth in 1988, but there'll be kids that like are now so they'd be in their 40s, 50s, whatever. And like, like back remember our retreat, like, and you'll have that
Yeah.
down the road, like
Mm.
where they're like, I don't know
Yeah.
what they just call you Dylan. Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Well, I mean, so you helped out with youth. I helped out for like 2 years at Emmanuel, like helping out with Bart.
Yeah.
Going to the retreats and doing different things. And
Well, that was before my time.
it was way before your time. It was actually
Katrina. How about you? Have you?
yeah. What about the youth with you?
Well, I made some cookies.
She does.
For this,
I'm joking.
this-
Guys, we're all going,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
worked with
I'm tallying up how you've helped the youth.
Oh, I'm not. I wasn't like
No,
No,
I'm joking.
of course
like,
not.
that.
Of course not.
No,
But because I don't really like teens, so
yeah,
it all worked
and what
out.
I love is the team,
Like
because
anybody.
obviously you are leading it, but the team, we're probably going to have some of the, maybe have Catherine on before she goes away, or that that sense of, is it just natural? Like, are there issues where you're like, hey, Catherine, Carly, you guys need to deal with this, or just kind of naturally unfolds?
How do you face some of the challenges that?
The adversity.
A good question.
Sure. So I think for the most part, it's pretty natural. So like since day one, I said, I will agree to leading the youth group if Catherine also agrees to lead with me. So like the two of us were kind of like the ones taking over. And then pretty soon after that, Carly joined, and then the following summer, Max joined.
Yeah.
And then, we had Jake and Brandon have also helped at different times. So I feel like from early on, Catherine and I sort of understood what our responsibilities were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As our leadership team has grown, I have found myself like taking on more of a facilitator at times, where I'm sort of asking like, hey, can you plan this aspect? Can you take care of that?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like Catherine and Carly are like, they're the detail oriented people. And so I say, here's this great idea for this event, and they're the ones that make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I show up with my big personality and loud voice,
which is crucial.
And there's been times that if they weren't there at an event, I show up and I organize people to bring snacks. And then we get there and I say, nobody brought forks or spoons or cups for our drinks. Those are the details that they help take care of.
You realize just how important they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But I would say for the most part, it falls apart. It breaks down pretty naturally of our roles, just because of our strengths and the way God has designed us.
Mm-hmm. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there are times that I have to be a little bit more specific of like, I want this to happen, but I also know that I can't make that happen. And so like, Carly, you are so good at detail planning. Can you think of everything I'm not thinking of to get this to happen? So
that's good.
Interesting. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, on that note,
Bill makes this whole program work. I do. I show up.
Yeah.
He does all the.
And
Oh,
he
give you
brings
some credit,
cold
Bill.
bottled water.
Bill does all the.
clutch.
You do all the
It
work.
really
Yeah.
comes in
well,
handy.
but we always have people behind the scenes. Ethan does all the
Of course.
producing. Nate's always helping me out with cameras, and Lisa gives me good ideas.
So, Bill, what do you do?
I really don't do much.
Yeah.
I really don't do much.
He's that buttery boy.
But
Hey,
baby. So,
Oh, boy.
Ew.
Stop. We're going to start singing.
No, we're not going to
Please.
start singing.
Wait.
Look, we already talked about Dylan's pain in his neck and his back.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're my pain in my neck and my back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Emmanuel Baptist Church, where our focus has been building strong lives in Jesus Christ since 1925, right here in Maple Shade, New Jersey. With 2 Sunday services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., you can choose the time that works best for you. And if you have children, our Greenhouse Kids Ministry and Nursery are available during the 11 a.m. service, so you can worship without distractions. But that's not all. On Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., we offer Sunday school classes for all ages. And if you're looking for a midweek pick-me-up, we have a variety of events on Wednesday nights. For more information on all of our programs and events, visit our website at ibclife.org. Follow us on social media and check out our weekly bulletin. And there's one more way to stay connected with us. Download our Church Center app. With this convenient app, you can stay up to date on all of our events and register for programs. Emmanuel Baptist Church, building strong lives in Jesus Christ.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Hello.
We are back for round 2 with Dylan Suplee, who is leading our youth. So we're going to talk a little bit about a little bit more of his background, but we're also going to talk about why it's called Abide Youth Group, because he's wearing the shirt.
But yeah,
Gotta
but
represent.
so the background part, when you were at Liberty,
Mhm.
I remember praying because you were trying to do a student-led initiative
Yep.
for the guys, whatever. Did COVID kind of cut that off? Like
Yep.
that? Then you say, okay, what tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So senior year at Liberty, that was the 2019-2020 school year. Myself and my roommate and our, I don't know, the guy that worked for Liberty that we were working with, we had planned this whole event. We called it Fight Night. And it was specifically, we invited every guy on campus. We advertised a lot, specifically focused on fighting for sexual integrity in our lives. And so it was a huge event. We had interviews that we had recorded. We had surveys that we had done around campus. We had several lessons planned. We had follow-ups planned. And we had, that was all going into spring break. And it was supposed to be the week after spring break. We would all come back from spring break, and then we would all come together. You know, we were hoping to get hundreds of guys to come to this event. And then the goal was that it would launch into these small groups basically around campus focused on sexual integrity in our lives. And everyone knows what happened with COVID. We went home for spring break and we never went back to Liberty.
Wow.
Wow.
And so that event just never happened. And it was hard. We spent so much time on that, and it was something that we really felt the Lord guiding and preparing. Something that is kind of a cool follow-up to that, though, is I actually just had an event earlier it was the start of the summer, with the youth group here, and we connected with 2 other local youth groups, where we used a lot of the same, I would say, content and research that I had used to plan for that fight night. And we had a fight night with the youth groups here.
Awesome.
And it's something that I definitely hope to do another one next year.
That's what's thrilling about our God.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I remember we had a good friends, Don and Nancy Hill. Not evidently there was a Don and Nancy Hill that I'm not referring to. These were Don and Nancy Hill from Emmanuel, and he ended up teaching at King's Christian School for a while. But they were set to go to China as missionaries. They had a bird for it. They literally spent a couple of years living in that. We used to own that little red building, a tiny little thing with their kids. And their support just never appeared as it needed. And I remember him talking to me almost and saying, like, guess we were wrong. And I remember saying, just not like, from my own heart, like, Don, don't you think it's possible that God gave you the burden, wanted to work through all of what you were doing, going to other churches? Maybe it was you excited somebody else about China, and that's who he's really sending. But he gave you the burden for you to be able to then say to you, but no, you're not going, right? And I think for that, like who knows what God, like in your heart. And I think that's so valuable, even when you're dealing with some of the teens, like, oh, I thought, he broke up with me and I thought for sure this was our, well, maybe thank God for the relationship, but maybe the purpose was to mold you or this. I just think that's fantastic that you're using it. And it's a reminder that it wasn't like a lot of people would look and go, oh, that was a waste, but it never is with God.
Right.
Never is.
Yeah.
That's really neat that you got to use it. That's real. I didn't know that. That's the neat part of the story. I didn't know.
So we'll keep going back more into your life. And so this is a third Don and Nancy Hill that I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Katrina had a question.
Katrina. I was actually telling my mom today that we would be talking to you, and I wanted to clarify you and Miss Maggie. I call her Miss Maggie because my precious kids call her Miss Maggie, so she is Miss Maggie. So, how did you meet?
Yeah. So
start from the beginning.
That goes even further back.
Yeah.
To when I was in high school.
Okay. So I was right.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So I was in high school, and there was this one week that my dad said, "Hey, Dylan, do you see that family over there? I can't tell you why, but I need you to go say hi and make
Your
them feel
dad?
welcome."
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, "Dad, I can't do that. They're 4 girls that are my age and I think they're pretty. And so I can't do that."
Oh.
And so I did not do that.
He said, "I think that hat is really." No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes.
But then a couple weeks later, Pastor Greg came to share
Yeah.
to preach,
Okay.
and it was announced that he was candidating as the assistant pastor at our church.
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh, that's who that family was a couple weeks ago that I was supposed to make feel welcome."
Yes.
Well,
and
they're coming.
I do remember specifically looking and saying, I don't know all their names yet, but the second oldest one, which is Maggie, I think she's the prettiest.
Oh.
And so then they started coming to our youth group, and our youth group was only like 25 people or so. And so when you have 4 new girls in youth group, it changes the whole dynamic
Wow.
drastically.
And Parker, you're allowed to think that Hannah's the prettiest. By the way.
I'm sure many people would have their different opinions, but I have.
They're all
and I
Just
stand by
beautiful.
that.
that's the beautiful thing about relationships.
Absolutely. And so I kind of had my eye on Maggie, but so did a bunch of other guys in the youth group. And so I just kind of sat back and I said, I'm going to be patient. And then they had been here, I don't even know how long, but then
They had fight night.
Different kind of
But
fight
then-
night.
Yeah.
Then there was 21 guys.
Yeah.
and then starting like going into my senior year, we had started texting a little bit more. And I like started inviting her to some of my soccer games, and she actually came, and I was like, that's interesting. And then eventually I asked her out. But the rule was, and I had already known this, but the rule was that I had to go out with Pastor Greg first, and he would give me a talk about dating his daughter.
Wow, great.
And
Yes.
Whoa.
I was not allowed to be alone with Maggie at all until I had that conversation. So
Wow.
she came to one of my soccer games, and I
Good
could not
for
drive
him.
her home until I had that conversation. And so then, sure enough, that was the night when she came to my game, and my whole family had to drive her home. That was when I said, "Okay, I'm meeting with Pastor Greg. Like I'm
This
done,
is done.
dancing around
Yeah.
this thing."
Yeah.
And so I did, and then we started dating that night
Oh.
in October in my senior year of high
Wow.
school.
Now the thing,
Senior year of high school?
Yeah.
Yep.
Were
Okay.
you were you engaged when she went to Africa?
No, we had only been dating about a year.
That was in
But-
college, right?
Yeah,
You were in
it
college.
was- I had finished I was going into my sophomore year because I'm a year older than her. I was going into my sophomore year. She had just graduated high school, and she was going away to Uganda for 4 months. And so we had been dating, like almost 2 years.
I definitely said Africa for 6 months.
Well, it's close. I mean,
Yeah.
Uganda is in Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then it was,
Uganda is in
it was like
Yeah.
August to
I-
December. So yeah, four
I definitely
months.
kind of botched it.
One thing I've learned on this podcast is Katrina knows nothing about geography.
Absolutely zero.
Uganda's kind of
did-
close to Baltimore.
Only because she never played
I
Risk.
I think I said 2 different areas, and one of them was Uganda, but one of them was Africa. It was not Uganda.
Okay.
So
Yep.
You don't remember the song Bermuda, Uganda? Come
Yeah,
on,
of course I
pretty
do.
mama.
Nope.
What do you mean?
You're close.
Sort of.
The worst Beach Boys song without Brian Wilson.
Mm.
Or we won't get into
Yeah.
music again. Go ahead. Keep going.
So then she went to Africa, and that was, very hard for I only got to talk to her like every 2 weeks. We would FaceTime, but she had the worst Wi-Fi in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like 3 a.m. our time. And
I remember
normal
at
time for
someone's
her.
wedding in Ohio must have been,
Marshall's.
yeah. I remember in the family room, you were
Your older
on
brother.
your laptop.
Yeah, my older brother, she could not be
Video
there
chatting
because she
her.
was in Uganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mentioning your older brother. Now, one of the things they have in the, you're obviously his brother Marshall's wonderful and was a terrific athlete. Probably led you, helped you in a lot of ways. When did you get taller than him? Do you know when it was?
Probably when I was in like 8th grade.
I didn't because
And he was in college, maybe 7th grade.
My brother Tom got taller than me. Then I got taller than him. Then he got taller than me again. Did that happen to you guys or no?
No,
Once you
no, because
passed
he's
him, that
6
was-
years older than me, so he was always quite a bit
Yeah.
taller until I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, and he was in college when I passed him. I had already passed his weight, like
We have
5th or
a
6th
we
grade.
have
I
an
passed his weight.
adorable family picture when with Vince just standing there. I don't know if he's like a senior in high school in a tux. It was one of the Baptist High formals.
Okay.
And Marshall, Dylan is like literally at like Vince's waist. And it's like now.
Yeah. Now I'm taller than all of them.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
6'1".
Okay.
Now, this is just off the, Dylan is in our family. He is the youngest of my parents had 20 grandchildren, through their children. And then they all marriage, but more, but you were the 20th.
Yes.
Does that become part of in your own mind, your part of your identity? Like I was the last grandchild? Or no, it's never really been something you think about.
I think it's probably impacted me more than like I've really realized, like, because I'm the youngest in my family, and there's so many stereotypes about being the youngest.
Yeah.
But then also with how close our extended family was, like being the youngest of everybody.
Yeah, the youngest of the 20.
Yeah,
grandkids.
I think it definitely has shaped me. I remember like just always wanting to try to do more with the older cousins. But some of them are 15 years older than me. And so like, I can't really do much with them when I'm 5 and they're 20.
Yeah.
I can't participate in their sports and stuff.
So you got engaged when to Maggie?
So we got engaged after we graduated from college. So we had dated
and then
for about 5 years.
you
before we
married.
got
How
engaged.
long was your engagement?
Let's see. It was like 9 months or
Okay.
so.
Yeah. And then married.
And
shortly after that.
married in June 2021, and we've been
And then
married
you had
since
Judah.
then. And now we have baby Judah.
Yeah. And is it? I'm done with these questions after this. But didn't I hear when you were going to college some kind of talk of Pastor Greg had counseled you guys saying that maybe you should take a break? Is that correct?
Sort of. So we actually
clearly gossip
yeah.
because we've never talked
No,
about
that's-
this together.
I think it's even worse than that. So we had just dropped off Maggie. I don't remember where she was going. She was going somewhere, but it was just Greg and I in the car.
Maybe
We
it
were
was
driving
Africa.
Home. Maybe. No, it wasn't. But we were driving home, and he basically said to me, like, now just because you have been dating, he was like, sometimes people think like, because you see so many stable marriages around you that like, just because you're dating that like, you just have to stick it out at this point. And he's like, you're going away to college. You're going to see a lot of girls there. Like, if you break up with her, it's okay.
Oh,
And I was kind of like, you telling me to break up with your daughter right now? But looking back, I know that that's not what his intention was.
yeah.
But
I remember
I remember feeling a little bit like, you not like me?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you telling me to break up with her?
I remember
And he
when
gave him $20. That's part of it.
but I remember when Deanna told us that her and Nate had been dating and didn't tell anyone because they didn't want to, if it didn't work. And I remember going right to the Cranefelds and saying, hey, look, one of 3 things is going to happen. Nate's going to break Deanna's heart. Deanna's going to break Nate's heart, or they're going to make
Break
it.
each other.
They're going to make it. We're going to be together.
Make it.
But
Sorry.
let's not
Such a
let's obviously we'll be thrilled if we become family, which we have,
Right.
but let's not lose our friendship
Right.
over the reality of what could potentially happen.
Right.
You want to abide together. So
Yeah, abide. There we go.
Oh, hey,
You
I'm
brought
terrible.
it back.
I'm terrible. It's
You
like-
wanna
You
have
brought it back.
deep
At least you
roots.
know where Uganda is.
Because deep roots. You want to finish that statement, Bill? Were you listening?
Yeah, it was something with fruits. I don't
Okay.
know.
That's right. That's right.
You're the worst.
I heard it twice too. So
Tell us the statement again.
yeah, so tell us why
Please.
it
Sure.
was abide and
Yeah.
Tell
go
us
into that.
Your,
for the
your,
people that
your,
listen.
tell it. Tell it.
So
tell
we
it.
are Abide, a ministry of Emmanuel Baptist Church, and our mission is to help teens grow strong roots and bear good fruits, all for God's glory.
Grow strong roots.
I failed.
Bear good fruits. And
Yep.
how can we pray for you and your team
Yeah,
and your youth?
yeah, that's a great question. So there's a couple things. I think we're sort of in a I don't know. You're always in transition in youth ministry, but we just lost some strong seniors,
Mm.
and specifically some ones that were like strong in small group discussion, kind of leading some of the discussion. And so we've had some good small groups and some awkward small groups since they've left. So I'd appreciate prayer just for like more teen leaders
Okay.
in the group. And then also just wisdom on how to best reach these teens. A lot of them are dealing with family situations that are just so different from anything that any of us on our team have
Yeah.
gone through.
Yeah.
Sure,
And so we're trying to encourage them, but also kind of give them a respite, a safe place from the
Right.
trauma that they live with or deal with, or just trauma. And so just prayer for wisdom on how to lead them and guide them through those situations.
Well, I've been a member at Emmanuel for, I guess, 8 years, a year. Yeah. And I've seen great growth within the youth group. I've noticed.
Yeah,
So you're
Praise
doing a
the
great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We certainly were
I
thrilled.
remember when I found out you were
Yeah.
taking it over, I was heartbroken that the Strolls were leaving because their kids were just, I loved their kids were great and are great, but I was very excited to see where you would take it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then after, it was just about a year that we had been leading when we kind of came up with, we want to set a theme for this group. Like, what is our mission? What is our purpose here? And so we tossed around a couple different ideas.
Did you? I'm assuming, but I could be assuming wrong.
Yeah.
Were you kind of springboarding off of our church core thing, building strong lives in Jesus Christ, like trees?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
I assume
Yes.
that. I was thrilled when I saw it. I was like, oh wow, that really
that correlates.
Yeah. So our church's theme is like trees firmly planted by streams of water. And then Catherine was a big part of building the children's program, which sort of walks through the different early stages of plant growth. And so we were talking about like, okay, we want to be consistent with our church. We don't want to be just a separate mission or ministry. And so we talked about like maybe just saying like building strong teenage lives, like trees firmly planted by water. But really, I just kept coming back to this theme in John 15 of abiding in Christ.
terrific.
And then specifically when Jesus says to remain in him, him being the vine.
Yeah.
And so I say that's like we're being rooted to Christ. And then it says that you may bear much fruit, all for the Father's glory. In verse 8 of that chapter. And so that was sort of our passage that we drew our theme from. And then we can unpack that from so many different passages across Scripture, but the focus is that everything we do as a ministry is to help teens grow strong roots where they're growing deeper in their faith, they're learning more about Christ, they're growing in their journey, and that it would help them bear good fruits for God's glory, that it would change the way they live, they would bring their friends to Christ, that it would impact just every aspect of their lives.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yes. What God is doing. That's exciting. It is. It's very exciting. And obviously, youth ministry, it's funny. There's dynamics in life of everything. So when I was spending more time around the firehouse, for example, I think it's safe to say this, they would all say, we need a good fire. And what they mean is a real working fire. It just brings, them all together. Just a sense of where, and the retreats often, do you feel like that your retreats have been often kind of milestones that.
Yeah. What would you say is your most effective event?
Interesting.
Or,
being there every week for the kids is key.
Yeah.
Because they need
consistency.
But I just meant,
Consistency,
do you feel like the retreats have been those moments of
grabbing them?
forging together?
Yes,
living
we
together.
have since I've been leading, we've had like an annual leaders dinner, where as the leaders we get together and we kind of talk about like reflect on the past year and also what's our goals for the next year. And so I would say that as a leadership team, that has been huge for like working through just some of the smaller like disconnections between us of like just kind of some unspoken assumptions that might have happened and just like hashing it all out in those meetings. So that's been huge for like our unity and our effectiveness as leaders. To be honest, I've been afraid to do a retreat because, as I mentioned, details are not always my strength.
No, but going to a retreat.
But we did do a snow camp last year. Was our first retreat.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's like a retreat, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
because it's the trip
But
there.
it took me 3 and a half years to get there. But we finally went to snow camp this past year. And it was an incredible opportunity for our group. And there are several teens in our group that their only exposure to church and Christianity is this youth group. And so we went to Word of Life, New York, where we're there with hundreds of other teens, singing worship songs, listening to sermons, breaking it down in small groups at night. And for the first time, probably in many of their lives, they're being surrounded by hundreds of people their age that believe the same thing as them and are fully convinced of it.
Yeah.
And they see it in the way they talk and
what a
live and act.
confidence builder.
And there were several on the bus ride home that said, like, I wish I could stay here. I don't want to go home. Because it's just so encouraging to be surrounded by that. And there are many others that have experienced that before, but it was still such a moment of unity for our group and growth for our group. That trip, definitely.
We had an organization, a regional organization, when I was in youth group years ago and worked with the youth. It was called Teen Discovery. And I think what was effective about it was they met at Pennsauken Junior High School. And because of that, because you want your youth leaders and whatnot to have, to be not competitive with other churches, we're in this together. But it allowed everybody a sense of, we're not going to your church and my kids might start going to your group, and it allowed them to come to this neutral site. But it was that feeling of, I remember going to it and thinking, wow, look at all these other teens from other places. And there's that sense of there's a sense of encouragement. That we're in this together. And I don't, is there any organizations in our area like that, or is it basically individual youth leaders that would need to do like what you've done,
network,
pull together
in a way?
To be honest, I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a regional youth group.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with. I mean, I know like Young Life is in our area, but they're kind of like a separate ministry that they have their own regional events, and I know there are certain denominations that have their own regional events, but I don't know of any like.
Can you get with other youth group leaders and do like a big?
Yeah, I have
not
a couple times. Tried to, or I definitely have multiple times like networked with different youth leaders, a couple in particular, and that's mostly just like encouragement, praying with each other, sharing what we're learning. Actually, I'm organizing a breakfast that's coming up this week for just all local youth leaders to get together and just pray with each other. And I have no clue if we'll have 4 or 20. I have no clue. But I'm excited for that. I know I'm going to be very encouraged by it, and I pray that it is for the others as well.
So now you're taking some sort of course for youth?
Yeah. Yep.
So
what's that?
What's that about?
Yeah. So it's from the Fuller Youth Institute, which Fuller Seminary is out in California. And they have this certificate course. And then I'm specifically doing like a cohort, they call it. So once a month, I meet with 15 other youth leaders. We've only had one meeting so far, so I don't know a ton about what it'll be. But I was surprised. I think I am one of 2 volunteers in the course. Everyone else, it's at least a part-time job for them. But no, that is not at all what I'm saying. I was just surprised because my thinking was, if this is your career, you probably have a degree. Why are you getting like a certificate like this? But it's a 9-month course that walks through, like right now we're focusing on sort of my calling and my purpose, like why I got involved in the ministry. And then it'll start to walk into like, well, what are some callings that like your teens might be feeling? And then how can you carry out your vision and what the Lord is putting on your heart? And like, carry that out for the good of your group. And I'm hoping to also get some help with like just learning how to teach the word. I've had a lot of Bible classes, but no like, no preaching classes. And
but do you think that I mean, I had preaching classes obviously in college, but I was probably more shaped by Pastor Mitchell, listening to Chuck Swindoll, listening to that you just see how they handle material or whatever. And I assume sitting under myself, Pastor Greg, like that I don't know whether you would say you don't have to. I don't know whether
can you say that right now?
No.
So I will definitely say that like
I didn't mean it like
these headphones aren't going to fit him much longer. That's how big his head's about to get. Go for it. Yeah, Vince, you're great. Go ahead. Tell him.
So obviously I grew up at this church. But then at Liberty,
the sincerity in it.
at Liberty, I got to sit under the teaching of so many people.
Yeah.
Three times a
Tremendous,
week, we
sure.
had teachers come to Liberty. And then I also visited several churches while I was there. And so I kind of got to experience various styles of teaching.
Yeah.
And then also there's a couple pastors that I still listen to their sermons occasionally. And so I would say that my teaching style is a wide range of influence.
It's funny you say, because
but
I don't know whether my style would work in like Mississippi, in Atlanta.
I agree. There's definitely a cultural aspect.
Like, I think
I mean, you're a very Maple Shade preacher. All your stories are around Maple Shade.
I just think my style, I'm not a real. I wouldn't fit in the South as well. I don't mean. I mean, I love the South.
yeah.
I just feel like
they're so different down there.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to have a gun strapped here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Eagles, y'all.
Might not hit the same down south.
Yeah, probably not.
But that's it. Yeah, and that's great. And your own, I think it's just, Lord, you were very effective when you shared with our church family.
Praise
But
the
I'm
Lord.
sure with the teens, like, Lord, just use me. And the reality is the only way you become more comfortable is by doing it. For all, I remember the first time I got to preach a sermon, they gave me the nursing home, and there's a lady in front of me going, I can't hold my head out, help me. And it's like very,
Yeah.
you're
It's like full circle.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's pretty much when we listen to your preaching now. Is what we're saying.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
I've been ragging on him. He is the best
No,
preacher for me.
sorry, we're
For
good. We're
me,
good.
I know we are. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
I know.
you're a great preacher. But
Yeah.
But
You're a
I
great
don't-
we
shepherd.
are
Back
we
to
are
Bill.
so,
great pastor.
yeah, and we're so blessed to have you. Honestly,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a church, I can say that you have our full support.
Mhm.
And if you need anything, ask the church, because the church
100%.
wants to help you. I
It
know.
is.
Yeah.
It's even neat. Like some years ago, one of our senior ladies, was like,
Hold my head up.
no, she was like, Pastor Vince, keep doing anything you could do to support the youth, and I don't really like some of the contemporary music, but keep it going,
Wow.
because I don't want to be at a church that doesn't have young people in it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it was like,
Yeah.
what a great heart. Like what she's saying is, I could go to another church
Right.
that would fit my preference, but I want to be seeing the next.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled for what you're doing, just like I'm thrilled for what your parents have done with the young marrieds. And
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
because I knew early in my ministry that I want to pastor like a 4 or 5 generational church.
Mm.
I don't want an old church. I don't want a young church.
Mhm.
I want a church. I don't
Absolutely.
mean I believe the most effective way is for people to grow together that are multi-generational.
Well, you can actually see, like we talked about Catherine, and a lot of these people who are listening don't know who these people are.
Mhm.
But Catherine is always singing up front.
Yeah.
On the praise team, Max, even
Mhm.
like different people
People tell
who
us
have come
that.
through.
we want to hear
You-
Catherine sing more.
She's so good.
And,
Yeah.
and we've, you were helping out on AV
Mhm.
before the baby,
Mm.
Yeah.
and now you're leading the youth. So I
Yeah.
mean, you guys have been involved, and we just appreciate it. And your wife doing ESL, and I know
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
have
that's
her on.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And
And your parents rung the young marrieds,
Yep.
which I've
Yeah.
been a part of, and I'm not sure that most of us are young married anymore.
Maybe young families.
They're my first small group I've ever done.
Wow.
The best. I'll never stop
Yeah.
going.
Well, I will say that as like the representative of the youth leadership team, that we have felt the support from the church,
Mm.
Good.
and it is so encouraging.
Oh,
There,
good.
there have been times that I have been like discouraged or just questioning if this is the right thing, and then someone will come up to me and say like, "Hey, we just want to give $100 for this event. We don't know if you need it," but I'm just like, wow, like they didn't know that I was starting to wonder if we really should be like, I felt like this was a big expense to be
Yeah.
Right.
planning this event or whatever. And so many
It's
people that come up
fantastic.
to me and just tell me how they're praying for the ministry and praying for myself.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And
Terrific.
it is just so encouraging. And
Mm.
it definitely has continued to keep
was-
me fresh.
It
in
was
my
at
ministry.
spur of the moment. I was
Right.
going to at the end of the youth service. I was thinking, let me tell people to come up and put their hands on these teens. But
Mm.
just before you
let's never
finish,
say that again.
no, yeah, that came out wrong. But some of them headed downstairs, and I thought,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah,
to.
we had them
That
serving
was the Lord
downstairs.
saying, no, don't
No,
go
don't do
there.
that.
Absolutely. And on
Yeah.
that note, I know I can bring us down. I'm like the Titanic over
Yeah.
here.
Oh.
I hope everybody has a great time.
No, you're the iceberg.
I'm the iceberg.
You're the Titanic. Alex.
You're sitting there playing the violin as it goes down. Speaking of that, we're gonna dismiss this.
Wow.
Please support the youth group.
That was
If you
good.
don't, you're a loser.